Well, one of the users of our plant database application, Species Database or SppDb, has asked us to illustrate how you put new data in. Can you add new species? Well, of course you can. The sample database that comes with SppDb has got some 300 entries in it, but to add a new one it's just a matter of clicking on New Record, and I've done that here for Thryptomene saxicola, a hybrid version of it. I've filled out the species family information name by picking a drop-down list. I've set a height, and I've used my own particular code of up to 1 metre in height there for its height. Doesn't say anything about the width. Maybe we might change that to a metre, to 1 metre by 1 metre, and we should have 1 metre by 1 metre in there, and in it goes. Now, if you wanted to change those values or add new values, you can see here I've tried to be relatively consistent and gone 1.0 metre H by 1.0 metre W, but you could change that because by going to basic data, and you would go for height and width, so click in there and you can add a new record, add your own information there. So we'll close from there, and similarly you can add other things. Now, as far as the code is concerned, my habit is to use uppercase, and my habit is to take the first 2 characters of the generic name or genus name and the first 2 characters of the species name. If I needed an extra character, I'd add a P because it's Paynes Hybrid in this instance. Now, ornamental features, now we might be wanting to categorize that or add our own. It's got spring blossom, so we could do that. The conditions it will grow under are full sun and part shade, so I'm customizing this by adding my information, and if I wanted to change conditions, the tags that we use, just click in here and add a new record. So it's completely malleable the way you work with SPP. Now, in landscape uses, I might want to use these. It's well known and used for cut flowers, so its flower colour is pink, white, and so on. The zone you might use, if you're in the US, you'd pick one of the US Department of Agriculture zones, or if you're working, say, in a generalised Mediterranean area, just pick that. And it certainly will thrive in the Mediterranean climates. Does it attract native birds and exotic birds? Well, yes, it does. Is it suitable as a hedge? Well, I'd say not suited. So can you see, and there's a custom field there, can you see you can add lots of information. What I wanted to illustrate is that I want to add a new image. So to add a new image, I pick the new image tab here, and then unlike all the other images in this sample file, which are taken from a URL that we've found on the internet, mostly in Wikipedia sites where they allow us to use that URL, what I want to do now is to load the image from my local computer. So I'm going to go into the file library and go into plants, and this is, I'll just change my files of type to details, and this is a Thryptomene, so I'm going to look in my library and pick one up. So in contrast to what we've been doing before, I'm loading an image from my own photo library on my computer, and that's fine when we're working on our own designs and we want to use these images, but they're private and personal to us, not widely available. And so I've loaded that particular image now, and we can scroll backwards and forwards. So we now have 2 images, one high resolution of 2,500 dots per inch and one much lower resolution, not that much lower, a little lower, from the internet. But can you see the difference between the two? So you can add new records easily, and you can take images provided it's allowable from the internet, but you can also add your own images to SppDb.